What's up, YouTube? It's Ryan. It is January 31st. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Say hello to Pedro, YouTube. Pedro. Pedro. Hey, you gonna say hi? See? He says hi. So, here's what we got. It actually came out a lot better than I expected it to. So we have the 500 series amber LED grill lights out of the last truck. We still have our blue strobe dash light. The Liberty 2 LED bar from the last truck. This was the last bar that graced the presence of the of Victoria, the old F-250. One thing I did change, which you can see in the center there, it is no longer a strobe. It is a standard 500 series, well, not standard, but it's just a regular 500 series LED, just like these are. It's the same style, it's just blue. It does not have a lens on it because I kind of went for the blue section in it. And then on the back, we have our antennas. Over on the driver's side is the low band antenna, which is a 64-inch tall antenna. Middle, we have our UHF high gain collinear 5/8 over 5/8 wave, and then we have our half wave VHF antenna. The two outside ones are Larson's NMO series. I absolutely love Larson. I'm not trying to give you guys a plug or anything, but seriously, Larson antennas, everybody. And then inside the truck, powering everything, something I also wanted to do was I tied in the dash light, so that's down there. I did not cut off the plug though. And this is how everything is set up. I did not put the CB in, and the reason I didn't put the CB in is I couldn't justify putting it on the roof because I didn't want to put another hole in the roof. I already put the 3 in there, and I love how this looks. So I was thinking about putting it down on the fender somewhere, but the problem is the vehicle-specific mounting bracket for these is like right here. I don't want it in the middle of the freaking fender. I kind of wanted it like up here, so I'm looking to see if I can find a bracket that goes right here somewhere, or maybe have to fabricate my own, or maybe just not put a CB in. I've thought about using a ground or a glass mount antenna for the CB and just sticking it in the middle there underneath the third brake light, but I haven't really decided, and I haven't really seen a lot of good things about the third brake or the glass mount antennas. So hey, if you've got a glass mount and you've had some good experience with it, drop a comment down below and let me know how it worked for you. Maybe I'll do that. But anyway, and then another change from the old truck is the low band radio. Now in the last truck I had a Vertex VX4000 low band. It was a 60 watt mobile. And I wasn't really thrilled with it because the squelch was finicky, the programming software is finicky, and you know, it didn't really get out there. Now, part of that might have just been the location because I had the antenna mounted on the fender. It didn't really have a good sight line. But ultimately, I went with a MACOM/GE Orion low band mobile. This is a D2BHCX model. It's a 100 watt remote mount mobile. It uses the M7100 head that they still actually use to this day. It's just slightly more refined. But anyway, slightly more rounded buttons. But either way, I went with the Orion because it was 110 watts. The programming software is still kind of finicky, and it uses a signaling type that's not really supported anymore, G-Star. And it also doesn't do MDC 1200, which is what every other radio on the planet does nowadays. Even Kenwoods and ICOMs do MDC now, which is kind of hilarious. In fact, there's even a video somewhere on YouTube of a guy that made his own MDC encoding board and put it in a Baofeng UV5R. I really want to find that guy and have him make a few for me, but that's beside the point. The other thing I like about this one is I got the control cable with the RS2 or with the DB9 data port in the control cable, so I don't have to have a stupid programming cable for it. The normal cable for the Orions and the M7100s is actually for the microphone jack, and it's really flimsy. So I went with just a regular serial connector. But anyway, so I guess I'll do a before video, because one of the things I'm doing today is messing with the light bar. So there's everything turned on.
I just haven't come out of white at this time.
Go ahead and turn that down a little bit. So anyway, so this is how everything looks in the console. Like I said, I wish I had the CB right here, but unfortunately I just didn't have the, I don't have this real estate available for an antenna. So anyway, so we'll start off with the light bar because it's really all I have hooked up at this point. Position 1 is still the same as before, where it's 2 inner amber heads and the 2 blue corners. Nothing to the front. At some point to the front, it will be the 400 series grow lights on the push bar once that gets installed. I haven't really put the push bar on yet because I don't have it yet. I still have to go buy it. And then position 2 will be the grill lights once they're installed. And now the whole bar is working. This is Signal Alert. Actually, this is California Signal Alert 75 if you look in your WeCan programming somewhere, guys. And this is everything besides the center 500 series LED, just because. And the dash light's also not hooked in. There's a reason for that. And then party mode, position 3. That's how the dash light's tied in now. The switch for it is actually down here, so I can still independently control it, but the cigarette plug is tied into the switch box. And that is Action Flash, which, like I said, I really didn't want to go crazy with the patterns this time, so I went for the Action Flash, just because it's very attention-getting. One thing I also decided to do on this model is I put in white, or I at least hooked up the takedowns. Now, that's really just for more of attention getting, and honestly I'm going to see how far I can string that along before I get yelled at for it. Also, you can see the 500 series LED in the center is working. Because it's older, it's not flashing as fast as the new WeCan technology in there, so it is what it is. I kind of like it though, because it's, if you look at it head on, you can tell it's a lot smaller. Actually, you can't even see it head on, so that's kind of the point. But the camera is picking up the strobes beautifully. So shut that off. And then obviously, takedowns, left alley, right alley. Rear flasher is still the amber lights. And again, the grill lights are being driven by that Grote 44030 flasher. I have them set to brake alert because it's not exactly 75 flashes per minute and there's that little delay in there. But either way, it still looks like a regular 75 flash per minute. And then, again, the 75 flash per minute signal alert in the back, which that may or may not be changing today, depending on how I feel. And then the last goodie in here is the cruise function, which I'm not exactly sure if it's legal in New York State to do this. Honestly, the only time I actually use the cruise lights is in conditions of low visibility, like in a whiteout or a fog or something. I'll click those on, and it kind of helps my visibility, and it helps raise my visibility a little bit. So I can see a little better because the blue kind of cuts through the fog a little better than the regular headlights do. And, you know, people can see me coming from a mile away, obviously. So anyway, so that's that. And the other two things that I've done are I replaced the side marker 194 lights with Sylvania Zevo LEDs, kind of like I did in the old truck. I only did that because I actually had one blow out on me. The driver's side marker actually blew out, so that one wasn't working. So I figured, all right, you know what? I already got to replace it anyway, so I'll just go in and do that. At the same time, I also put in Sylvania ZXE Gold. They're not exactly HID, but they're xenon halogen headlamps. They're actually a significant improvement over the stock H13 bulbs that I had in here, so I'm kind of thankful for that. Anyway, so that concludes the catch-up portion of this program. And now, the meat of our program. What we're actually going to do today is I ordered some parts and we're going to install them. You can kind of see them laid out on the back there. What we're going to do today is we're going to change out the turn signals in the front, the brake lights in the back, and the reverse lights. Now you might remember these guys. This is LaceFit LED products. These are the guys that made my old HB5 headlights in the 2004 Victoria. I really like those LED headlights, and I would have gone with them again, except I couldn't remember which ones I was getting. And honestly, the older one, the ones I had in the last truck, they were nice, but there wasn't really much of a demarcation between high beam and low beam. A lot of people still flashed me when I was at low beam because they thought I was on high beam. That may have just been the color intensity, but I digress. So these are the new CAN bus LEDs, and the reason I got these is supposedly they have a built-in resistor, so there is no error. So basically it eliminates the hyperflash problem unless it burns out and then you have hyperflash. So I was excited about these, but now I'm really apprehensive because before they shipped them, a company rep from LaceFit emailed me and said, hey, just so you know, you gave us the information of the vehicle you were putting these in, and people have reported that they don't work or they don't eliminate the hyperflash anyway. So do you still want to continue the order? I said, you know what, sure. Worst case scenario, I'll throw in a resistor myself and call it a day. Or I just go back to stock and say, yeah, they told me so. So we've got amber for the front. Now these are available two ways. You can get amber like I did, or you can get amber clear for a switchback where the running light is amber, or my bad, the running light is clear and the turn signal is amber, and it knows when to switch that. I got the amber version because I don't really care for clear running lights anyway. Then we have the, I don't remember what model these are. I don't exactly remember what model these are. I think these are 921s. Yeah, I think these are 921s, but these are the reverse lights. These are white, and again, they are the same CAN bus series as the 3157s in the front. And then we also have the 3157Rs for the rear. These are brilliant red. So we'll see what they say. So we're gonna start, oh, my bad, I almost forgot the other thing. The other thing I did regards to the light bar. Now, one thing that I really like about this light bar is the fact that it's still super customizable like the older Edge series and the older Liberty series and pretty much every Whelen bar ever devised except the 4000 series. I cannot change parts out on that thing to save my life. But anyway, one thing I wish this bar had was I wish it was blue and blue right there. And now I know what you're wondering, why didn't you just take a couple out of the front and switch them to the back? Well, I still like having the all blue front. I love the look of the all blue sides, kind of like how I had it with the old 9622 strobe bar on my F-150. And how I also had the Aerodynamic on the old 250. So I didn't really want to put the two amber heads in the front because, you know, do to one side, you do to the other, kind of like fractions. So what I found out I could do was there was an option for the WeCan bars that you could have a dual color traffic advisor. You know, these heads were split color head, or not split color heads, but they were dual color heads, so they could be two colors. Well, unfortunately that was a very expensive add-on, and I can't really find a cheap set of heads, or can I? And I did. There was a guy down in Texas who had 3 of these. They're not IW series. I think they're BW series. Either way, they're the same size as the IW heads that I have in there, which are right there and there. Those are the IWs, those are the IH series heads in the middle. But these are dual color blue amber. So these are gonna go right on the outside. They're gonna go on the outermost amber position. So they're gonna go here and they're gonna go here. And they're gonna replace those two heads. Now, you're probably wondering, well, wait, how is it gonna work if you have it set up for single color? That's why I got invented the laptop. I can actually change the programming of this bar, and I have a code plug for it. I don't know if the right term is code plug, but it's what I use for radio terminology, and it works well enough here because I'm reprogramming the light bar. So anyway, I have a new code plug for the light bar. So we're gonna see if it works, how well it works, and we'll do some side-by-side comparison while I've got the bar torn apart. But the first thing we're gonna do the turn signals, because I'm really curious to see how well those are gonna work and if I'm actually gonna end up changing them out. Because if I still have the hyper flash, I'm not going to finish installing them. So let me pop open the hood, break some of these open, maybe adjust down a little bit because I'm a little toasty right now. I'm still wearing my jacket, as you can probably see on the side of the truck. And we'll get started on that. All right, so we got the hood popped open. I don't actually have it opened up yet because I just had a theory. Look at Pedro sitting so pretty. Isn't he such a handsome boy? So we're gonna hit the unlock button, and this is just for comparison's sake. This is the new Zevo LEDs, in case you couldn't tell. But these are standard 3157A halogen bulbs in the front of the, or incandescent bulbs in the front of the truck. So this is what they look like with the lights on. This is what they look like with the lights off. Now this isn't really a good representation of how it looks at night, but it's pretty close. So let's get the hood popped open and we will start working on getting everything taken apart. Or will we? Now, I wanted to wait until I had these, I wanted to wait until I had these, I wanted to wait until I had, basically I wanted to have all the bulbs and do this once, but you know, me being impatient, I decided to do the headlights and the marker lights first. So I still have to change out the turn signal bulb. Now, normally I would be taking the entire front end off to do this. I would take the grill off and then I would take the headlights out individually. But I found out that I can actually cheat and not do that because there's a giant open space right here in the engine bay and I can reach all of the LEDs right, or I can reach all of the bulbs right there. In fact, that top one right there, that's actually the turn signal. So we're gonna change that out real quick and I'm gonna see if it has hyper flash. And I'm glad that there's this open space here because then it doesn't mean I have to tear the entire front end of the truck apart to replace the bulb. And before somebody else says it, because it's already been mentioned to me, but Ryan, you could just pop out the inner fender well here and do the other side because there's no space to do it over there because of your air intake. Yeah, you know what? It's just easier for me to take the grill off because then I can take the entire headlight out and not worry about jamming my finger somewhere. Which, yeah, my hand is still healing from the radiator or the transmission intercooler down there. So, yeah, we're not doing that. So, let's get this popped out. And through the wonders of movie magic. All right, so now that we got all that done, that's how she looks in there. Spoiler alert, I already tested it just to make sure it would work properly, at least on the running light function, because, you know, I can do that. But it does look good. So go ahead and turn the running lights on for a short period of time. You can obviously see how much you can plainly see in the video just how much more intense that light is, and it fills up the entire reflector. Whereas this one really doesn't. So we'll go ahead, jump in the cab, and turn the hazards on just to see how that looks flashing. I'm also going to turn the running lights on completely. Oh my lord. I am not disappointed. You can see just how much brighter that is. I don't even need to do a night shot of this. This is going to blind people. But that looks gorgeous on the wall. And now, the moment of truth. This is where it's gonna get interesting. Because when I turn this key, I turn this key right here, and I turn this turn signal on, it's gonna do one of two things. It's either gonna work perfectly, or it's gonna hyper flash. And if it hyper flashes, I'm gonna be pissed. Drum roll, please. Yes! Oh my God, yes, it works. I am actually impressed right now because they told me that this wasn't gonna work. But that's without the running light, and that is just ridiculously bright. That is really the look I wanted to go for, and I might actually see if I can get another set of these for a couple of the trucks in Auburn. Whoops! Did I say that out loud? I'm kidding. You didn't hear that. So, I haven't decided if I'm gonna do the mirror light at some point. Because I think they're the same 194s out of there, I might just change them. But, you know, it's only 22 bucks to go get a 2-pack from AutoZone, so we'll see. But all right, so we're gonna do the other side next. Actually, you know what? I'm feeling dangerous. We're gonna do the back. We are going to do the back. That's not what I wanted. We're gonna do the back bulbs because this is the one that they said specifically was gonna have a problem. So if it has a problem, that's okay. I actually have 2 resistors with me. That's not what I want. That's what I want. So to take these out, just like any other Super Duty, 2 bolts right here, pop it right out. So we're gonna do that. We're also gonna change the reverse light bulb and do a comparison to that while we're at it. So movie magic again. Hey, Dro. Come here, boy. Come here. Yeah, I think he wants me to pay attention to him. Alright, so I have no idea how I'm going to test this. I think it only goes in one way. We'll see. But just for comparison's sake, here's a standard 921. And here is the new one. So, it's a little bigger. I mean, I guess this can only go in one way, because there's only 2 tabs on either side. Alright, let's see if it works. Alright, so I just tested it just to make sure, but it does actually work. But here's what it looks like out of the reflector. I have a feeling this is going to be ridiculously bright. So, now that I got the truck running anyway, we'll get this popped out. This is the old 3157 out of the taillight. That's kind of toasty actually. Get the new ones out. And again, just for size comparison, this is the new 3157R, and this is the old 3157. Can't really balance. This is a little taller. Again, I don't know how this goes in, so we're gonna try it. Hazard's on. And it works. So at least we got that part right. Now let's see. Does the turn signal still work? And the turn signal still works. So good. So good. So good. All right. Let's put this baby back together. All right. So that's back together. Go ahead and turn that on, and we'll see how it looks compared to the other one. Wow. I can't even describe how much better that looks. It really looks better. Hey, Pedro. He's not really liking the flashing. Wow. That is ridiculously bright. Let's go ahead and hit the running lights just to say I did. That is still really bright. One thing I'm always worried about with LEDs is you can't really tell how they look in a picture or on a video. And the thing that's always been impressed with me, or that's always impressed me about LaceFit, is you can tell there's an actual difference. And it was the same thing with the Sylvania Zevo LEDs that I had in the last truck. By the way, the reason I didn't use the Zevos again in the new truck is because they don't have that built-in resistor, and I didn't really want to go through and have to chop up all the wiring because, again, trying to keep wiring simplistic on this truck. So anyway, we're going to finish up the other side, and we'll go from there. Wow. Again, I can't stop saying wow because I'm just so impressed. That LED is blowing that halogen out of the water. Not unexpectedly, of course, but still. So that's going to really light everything up. I just want to see what it's like with the lights off real quick. The reason that's mad is because the door is open. Yeah, I think that's brighter. See, that's what I hope my 3157s would look like in the old F250, but the housings were just not conducive to that, because that's what they looked like in the F150. So anyway, turn the lights back on here. We're gonna go ahead and finish this glory up. All right, so we got everything in. Oh my Lord, does it look good? Oh, it looks so good. Look at this. Look at this beauty. So again, these are the LaceFit LEDs. These are 3157Rs, brilliant red in the back. These are the CAN bus series. 921 whites in the reverse lights. And the 3157As in the front. And contrary to what the company told me, no hyper flash. Everything is slow, smooth, and exactly how it came from Ford. Yes, I just kicked a piece of plywood. Leave me alone. Oh, it sounds so good. All right. Thus ends part 1 of our program. Yes, I'm rolling my R's like I'm Scottish. Leave me alone. Part 2 is going to be a little more interesting. Because part 2, I got to break out the laptop for. We're going to take this light bar apart. We're going to pop these dual color heads into it. And you will see that on part 2 of this episode. Yes, I'm going to do a 2-part episode. Why? Because I don't think this video is going to even be remotely short enough to keep everybody's attention span. So, part 2, light bar. Watch it.